knitters, this is the second video in a little series that I'm doing about adding borders to your knitting. Here I have a sample of plain stocking stitch or stockinette stitch, and you can see how the edges curl, of course, as stockinette does. And then I have over here another sample that I knit where I added a seed stitch border to it. So you can see how it really neatened up the edges and it helped it lay flat. I just did a few rows here at the bottom in stocking stitch, and then the same number here at the top. And then I reserved 6 stitches on each side for the seed stitch border. You can make your borders as wide as you want them. It's just a matter of taste. There is no rule. And even though I just used plain stocking stitch here, you can use the seed stitch border on any kind of stitch that you like. It would look really nice for a scarf to neaten up your edges and everything. So I'm going to show you how to do the seed stitch border now. I have about 20 stitches here, and for the bottom of my stocking stitch, I'm just going to work in knit 1, purl 1. I think I'm probably just going to do a few rows and then start the stocking stitch. And again, you could use this with any stitch pattern. I just picked stocking stitch for this sample because it's quick and easy. And then for row 2, I'm going to purl 1, knit 1 across. And then those 2 rows would be repeated for as many times as it takes to get the bottom of your border the width that you want it. And you would just work the same number of rows in the seed stitch at the top before you bind off. So with the seed stitch, you're knitting the purl stitches and purling the knits. You're alternating knits and purls. So see, here is my purl bump. So I want to knit that stitch. And then here's this stitch is presenting as a knit stitch. So I want to purl it. Usually you hear the phrase or see the phrase, knit the knits and purl the purls. For this, we're doing the opposite. So you don't even really have to keep track of what row you're on or anything. You just read your stitches. So if you see what looks like a knit stitch, you would purl. And then when you have a stitch that looks like a purl with that little bump on the front, you would knit that one for the seed stitch. So no worries about, oh, am I on row 1, row 2, where am I at? You just knit your purls and purl your knits. So I think this will be good for this sample here, just 3 rows of seed stitch. Now that I'm ready to start working in stocking stitch, I'm going to reserve some stitches along the side here for my seed stitch border. I think I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4 in my seed stitch. And now I'm going to start stocking stitch. I think I'll just start with purling here. And one of the things I like about these garter stitch borders and seed stitch borders, since they look the same on each side, you don't have to worry about starting your stitch pattern on the correct side so that you have the right side of the stitch pattern showing on the right side of your border stitches. You can start whenever you like, because it's going to look the same. So I did 4 stitches at the beginning, so I'll work up until I get to my last 4 stitches, and then I will do the seed stitch again. So here I have what looks like a knit stitch, so I want to purl that. So my last 4 stitches will be purl, knit, purl, and knit. Now turning, work my first 4 in seed stitch. Now I'm at my stocking stitch stitches, so I knit all of those. And you can put stitch markers on your needles to separate the border stitches from the main stitch pattern, of course, which does make it easier to identify. And if you're knitting while you watch TV or something, you can easily get distracted. I know I do. And then turning, again, work my first 4 here for the border. I'll purl my stocking stitches. Alright, so you get the idea here, and you can already clearly see the line between my border stitches here and the main stocking stitch. When you're ready to bind off, of course, you're just going to work the seed stitch all the way across the row, just like at the bottom. And if you had stitch markers on your needles, you could remove those at this point. Last row of the border here. And then of course you would just bind off in whatever bind off you choose. But that is seed stitch border for your knitting.